Hello, Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs on the path of true love for August 2019. I am your reader for today. Mark Angelo Lyons Mal for short. And look, I cleaned up. I did a shower. Go look at what I was wearing in Virgo. Now I'm doing Libra. It's later at night here. We had a lovely rainstorm. It cooled down a lot, so it's nice and quiet outside and very peaceful, very balanced. So I'm really ready to do this. Clean myself up, tuned to my gods, my angels, my masters, blessed the decks, tuned myself to the collective for Libra for this reading, and really asked that this be the best and most blessed reading I have ever given. Not that I will ever give. Let's not put a cap on it, but that I have ever given. My heart is open. I've got Aphrodite and Eros, her son. I don't know if you can notice him. You notice him now. There he is. Oh, he's so cute. Yeah, Aphrodite and Eros share the throne of Libra in my pantheon. So they switch in, switch out, but of course they have access to me whenever they want, hence being a mystic. So let's dive in, shall we? We're going to start with Carolyn Mace cards. We're going to pick they're going to pick through me one card each for the divine feminine and the divine masculine in the relationship that we're going to look at for you Libras. Now again, I'm going to say this over and over because I guess I gotta, that when I say divine masculine, divine feminine, when I refer to gender at any point, it has nothing to do with biological gender or any of that. It has to do with energetic dynamic. So let's do this. So we always start with the divine feminine. Ladies first, just easier to remember. So God, Goddess, all that is, please, can we please have one card for Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs on the path of true love for August 2019 for the divine feminine. Top card. Who do we got? We've got the beggar. Now this has come up before, and it's interesting because in other reads that I do, I mean, I mostly use these cards for myself, but I've brought them in to other readings when necessary, usually for spiritual counseling purposes, because we're really looking at larger archetypal soul powers and patterns being developed. So there's writing on these particular cards that I will get to. I just want to get them both out, the divine masculine, the divine feminine. In fact, what I'm feeling to do is I will I'll pull from the other three decks, saving the new deck, the Whispers of Love, for last, because that's been fun. So here we go. God, Goddess, all that is, please. A divine masculine archetype for Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs on the path of true love for August 2019. The divine masculine in this center of the deck in this true love relationship. The engineer. This one's not popped up before. So we've got the beggar and the engineer. Now again, just tuning to these right now, and I will read the archetypal shadow and light that are written on here. But this feels really ancient. This combo, a beggar and an engineer, a divine feminine beggar, a divine masculine engineer, because the beggar being divine feminine, that would be the sacred heart, and the masculine, the engineer, the sacred mind, that the two of them could really have an alchemical reaction together. So I will read what's written on those in a minute, but let's get all of our cards out here. My angels. Now I was tuning to the Raphaelites before because they are the angels of the east, the powers of air and all of that, the thought angels, and they feel so sweet and so poetic because we're talking Libra here. Now, by the way, I should mention I have Mercury and Venus conjunct third house in Libra because I'm Leo rising. So it's funny, I'm Virgo sun, Leo rising, Virgo sun, Libra, Mercury and Venus. So it's like when I do these readings in order as I do it zodiacally, I'm kind of going over my own stuff too. And that last Virgo reading particularly in the edits. I was like, oh no. So I really, really have asked my guides to just keep me out of this as much as possible. I read my relationships off camera, but that doesn't mean that I'm not part of the collective, because I'm part of the collective. We all are. So as I tune to these lovely, sweet Raphaelite and any other angels that want to chip in for guidance here, please, an overview for Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs on the path of true love for August 2019. This one. Balance. Can you beat that, Libra? Considering that's what you're all about? Interesting, interesting. Now I could draw many conclusions and tap into thousands of stories in the collective just with those 3 cards out, but that's why we're going to go a little bit more fine-tuned. Oh my gods, Aphrodite, Eros, any of my gods that want to contribute, please. 1 card. Oh, you feel so good. Let's I'll come to the castle tonight. I want to bask in the light of my gods. Please, my gods, 1 card for Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs on the path of true love for August 2019. A court card. Maiden of Blades, the Gemini card. All right, the Gemini card. Ooh, that just made this way more specific, right? You throw a court card in. I don't necessarily always read court cards as people, particularly when you've got a divine masculine, a divine feminine, and then this could just so obviously be read as a third party, but it ain't necessarily so. That we're looking at an archetypal overview on the mystical path of true love that I know just don't go for the obvious with these. Other readings, that's fine. If you're, the path of true love is just different than like a romance reading or a relationship reading. It is a relationship reading, but it's through the lens of the embodiment of divine love, seeing your spiritual, your healing path, your life path through the lens of relationships, through sacred contracts, twin flame soulmates, true lovers. Oh, I did a video on that. You might want to check that out, how I define those terms. A little bit different from what I've been seeing out there. In some cases, a lot a bit different than what I've been seeing out there. So you might want to go check that out, particularly because you're Libras. More info to balance. Yay. More options that you can vacillate between. Well, I know I've got a pretty strong placement. Part of a yod in my chart. My Mercury and Venus is the lower part of a yod with my Saturn in Aries. Yod, the finger of God. Why wouldn't I have the finger of God? I've been touched by God even in my natal chart. Speaking of which, hello, my masters and my buds. We've gotten real close over the past couple of months. I really did not want to deal with Ascended Masters at all. So tinfoil hat woo land. But they've proven themselves to be very, very fun. Very, very funny and very understanding. At least with me. I don't know what they're like with anybody else, but they're treating me like bar buddies. Except for some of them. Where respect is due, obvious. All in respect. So my masters, please, as I do to you, 1 card, please, in clarification and elucidation. A clue, a tip, a hint. A clue, a tip, a hint for Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs on the path of true love for August 2019. You gave me 3, and I see why you gave me 3. I don't usually do that. I usually just take 1, but we've got some very interesting cards here. We've got the Lovers. Now, traditionally, yes, a tarot card, but this is not a tarot deck. This is Chuck Spezzano's Love Pack, and that is one of the luck cards, number 29, luck cards. And you've even got like the 2 swans in the corner, the mate for life, and people picnicking between trees. It's just so pretty. But that's okay, because then we have the problem card, expectations, right? That you've got somebody, you got 2 people pointing towards a throne on top of a pedestal, and one person directing the other person to climb up there, get up there, be what I want you to be. And then this card has popped up before and has many different interpretations. Can't wait to tune into all of these together. We've got the card of revenge. And that is more than surface what you think it means as well. So, Eros, if I can just move you a little bit back this way and a little bit more room. Okay. So then we'll put the lovers in between the two. Got it. Because we do like symmetry where possible, don't we, Libras? Okay. Well, what we're looking at here is a real balancing of opposites in this relationship here, particularly with the amount of mental energy going on. That we've got that Gemini card, that back and forth, that almost like dueling minds here. So even just looking at the cards that the Masters of True Love have shown here, the lovers, like if I was to go pure tarot on that, I would say the lovers is always about a decision, not a choice, a life-changing decision. Do you commit your heart or not? Like anything else in life, do you put your heart into it or not? You know, there's a difference between making macaroni and cheese quickie, or do you really make macaroni and cheese and put the love into it? It doesn't matter what the ingredients are, as long as you have the one special ingredient. Whatever. I'm a great cook, though. I can really doctor up basic mac and cheese. I got good ingredients. And you know what? My feeling is with this is that even though this looks like a mixed bag, we're looking at an opportunity to balance. And with divine masculine, divine feminine, whether this is twin flame or soulmate, with the possibility of evolution into a true love relationship, really everything is sort of on the table here. It's like you've got your eggs, your butter, your milk, your flour, your sugar, your baking pan, you've got your oven, you've got everything you need. But it ain't cake yet, right? It's all has to be balanced and again, put in the oven, transformed, which is what the path of true love is about a lot of times. It's about constant transformation, not just change, transformation from the inside out. And then the relationship, the two come together. Not only do they serve each other in each other's healing, helping each other heals like true soulmates, but that vibration, of course, radiates out and creates waves of transformation. True love conquers all, breaks all curses. So now I'm going to read the divine feminine here, the beggar. Just remember, the beggar. Now, I know, here's how you know you have an archetype. If there's an instant reaction of, ugh, that's called a negative animation, but that's saying it's a shadow. You're connecting with the shadow somewhere in your energy system. Or if you're like, ooh, ding, 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 ding. There's some sort of energy movement. It's positive animation. Otherwise, it's like, meh. I could like this. I'm like, yeah. I mean, I understand it in this reading. I can feel it. But the engineer, I'm just like, meh, meh. But now let's get some definitions here. So the light attribute of the beggar confronts empowerment at the level of physical survival, awakens the spiritual authority of humility, compassion, and self-esteem. Now, self-esteem in the path of true love thing in general, it's just a path we all are always on because, sorry, contact lenses decided to do a little dance in my eye. Funny, left eye, divine feminine, life is tarot. That you may be feeling the animation, my divine feminine, because you have to kind of pick which one feels right for you here. And if you're really like, no, don't want to see that, don't want to see that, know that humility, compassion, and self-esteem is a verb. Humility, compassion, these are essential on the path of true love, particularly with yourself, right? Well, it's self-esteem. But what about self-compassion and the grace of humility to know that you do not know? As well as, you know, when you see homeless people in the street or people begging, it's like, if it doesn't move you to compassion, I mean, if you got change in your pocket, just give it to them. Who cares what it's for? It's not the money, it's the blessing that you give with it, right? The movement of compassion into physical form, conduct. What's your conduct? But then we've got the shadow attribute here. Oh, and this feels like a bit of a good chunk of lead here. Shadow attribute, dependence on others to the exclusion of effort. And my guides told me a few years ago, maybe 5 years ago, if you carry those who can walk, their legs will wither. So are you asking someone to carry you? Are you being carried, beggar? That's a tricky thing, and by all means, start to get in touch with what you are begging for, because chances are, if this is a twin flame relationship, that is about you're teaching each other how to heal yourselves. In other words, twin flames are turbulent. They can't give you what you need. You have to give that to yourself. That's the basis of the relationship. But I gotta say, with the other cards here on the table, there's also very strong potential here for soulmate, because the beggar could absolutely work with an engineer in a way that is balanced, that there's a balance, give and take here, almost like a Six of Pentacles in the Rider-Waite deck. That equals sharing and giving, where this could be something really beautiful, but what stands in the way is expectations and feelings of revenge. We'll get there. Let's read the engineer. Now, again, this one, I know lots of people with the engineer archetype, and I love them, think the gods for them. You know, old and young. One of my dearest friends, a computer guy, totally helps me out, and I like cook for him. Right? True barter. My cooking's worth it. But also, my friend Anthony, sometimes it takes a millennial. He's like, fixed. I'm like, I have no idea what you just did. And then he tries to explain it. You might as well be speaking in hieroglyphics. You can't speak in hieroglyphics. Bird, eye, kitty cat. Messed up. Which one is you? It's Sabby. Do you want to come up, boy? Come here. Come here, booger. Come here, my booger head. Aw, it's my Sabby. Oh, and here's a Milky. Aw, they're all coming. These are the loves of my life. Okay, go play. Be good to each other. I got squirt bottle right here. Back to the engineer. I'm sorry. I love my boys. And I'm doing Libra. I'm tuned to all the Libras. Engineer light attribute. Ability to give creative energy a practical expression. Talent for designing resolutions to common dilemmas. Like maybe one that a beggar. So it's not just about tinkering, right? It's designing resolutions, not just pulling something out of a toolbox and fixing it, but designing a resolution. Shadow attribute, reliance on mechanistic solutions, right? Pulling something out of the toolbox without regard for emotional consequences. You know, this is where I think the beggar comes in with compassion. One thing I've learned the hard way as a spiritual counselor, really as a witch and as a human being in general, all baked in. All those things I just said are baked in. You can't separate them. Be helpful. Be helpful. Truth without compassion is brutality. That's His Holiness the Dalai Lama. That's a quote from him. So sometimes engineers can be really, well, particularly if they're Aquarians or Sagittarians, they'll just be like, well, you're fucked, do this. And it's like, whoa. I just had this conversation with somebody. Sometimes we just want to be right, you know, and we don't even take into consideration the emotional consequence of what we're saying. Now, not that we have to hedge everything we say with disclaimers and pre-apologize for things, but if you're really coming from a place of compassion, it's like, I see your situation. Let me just take a moment. I want to say this right. That I think if you tried this, and then if we did this and this and this could really help you. In that way, that makes total sense. With a divine feminine and a divine masculine, finding a balance of what? Gemini, communication, of how you two are communicating with each other. I really am not feeling that's a third person going on here. But then, of course, then I look at these three, the lovers, expectations, and revenge, that there is a real decision to be made here. This need not be a romantic relationship. Remember that I think I say this almost every single time I do a Path of True Love read. True love is not all about sex and romance. It's not. This could be parental. This could be sibling. This could be friend. This could be coworker. Could it be total stranger? Maybe, but this feels like, you know, if you're going to say reason, season, lifetime, this is then for a reason. I'm just not feeling that, but you know, how many different variations on a theme are there in the collective for you Libras and any sign in general? So I do want to pull a couple more cards on here, particularly about those expectations. So they're showing me to grab the Daughters of the Moon Tarot on this. So my gods, what is the expectation here? It feels like there may be one for each, but if you can give me one card, please, just to clarify the nature of this expectation, where it comes from, a clue, a tip, a hint, a clue, a tip, a hint, a clue, a tip, a hint, a clue, a tip, a hint. This one. All right, Ace of Blades. So it would be Ace of Swords. That this expectation would be one of something new, right? A new beginning. In this deck, it's the Sibyl, which is the Oracle of Delphi, that she sat on a tripod, a priestess, only at certain phases of the moon, by the way. I watched a special on it, I forgot on what channel. And these gases would rise up from underneath the temple through these cracks, ethylene gas, if I remember correctly, which means she'd be a little like, tweet, tweet, tweet. She would prophesy, someone would write it down, and I think another person would then interpret it. So new stuff coming in, that this be something new, an expectation of something new. And I have to say, if that's, that this need not be then such a womp womp card. If you're really talking about, well, let's do something new, let's try something new, because you've got the engineer who has a talent for designing resolutions for common dilemmas. But why do I feel that part of this expectation for the beggar is that this is not a common dilemma, because it feels so very, very personal, might even be affecting the appearance of, in some way, and I just don't mean facially, physically, but how things look, how things appear. And then this revenge card, they do want me to clarify this with a card, I will, but first I just want to talk about revenge for a little bit, because, you know, we tend to think of it only in terms of someone taking out vengeance on someone else. But it can also be in many ways self-harm to show somebody what they've done. Now, particularly for the beggar, that might be an issue here. And not that it couldn't be for the engineer as well, because I could see the beggar saying, well, look what's been done to me. Look what I'm doing to myself. This is what you did to me. The way you treated me, or the way this went down, that's why I'm doing this to myself. It really is a form of revenge, to actually kind of hurt the other person by hurting yourself. It is a tricky strategy, and it just doesn't go well. And it begets more revenge. It is a form of very toxic manipulation, like someone threatening to kill themselves if you leave. We've seen that situation. Don't ever try that shit with me, because I know they will send your shit right back in another body, and you got to go to grade school. Not making fun of suicide. I've been never took an action towards it, but I know those feelings. I can feel the collective. But don't ever play that game with somebody. And if you do, just know the consequences. They might very, very well say, okay, then, well, die. Because I don't have that kind of power. That's your decision to make, if the person is really, really true and clear and grounded in themselves. So with that card of revenge there in the Lovers, which way you want me to go? Which way you want me to go? Another tarot? All right, that's good. I can do that. So please show me what's the nature of this revenge, please. A card of clarification, please. A clue, a tip, a hint. Two of Cups. So that there is something romantic here, particularly with that card of the Lovers, even though I just said it need not be romantic. As I'm lining these up now, that there might have been a little infidelity here, or there might have been a long delay in the relationship of the two of you getting together, or one's trying to orchestrate, oh, well, this thing about the appearances, keeping up appearances. Oh, they're giving me Mrs. Bouquet. Blessed be. Hyacinth, right? Hyacinth bouquet. Ooh, bouquet. That this might be a hidden thing, actually. And so the beggar is just kind of like begging, please, please, please. And, you know, the engineer might not even be aware of that amount of begging. That could be to the gods directly. so while the engineer is strategizing, right? So there's there's that thing, there's some suffering going on here for sure. But this card of the Lovers really just says to me, if you guys decide to just communicate honestly, you're air, right? Libra is air sign. Look, I got Libra third house. I communicate like a Libra even when I'm doing this work. I try and be as diplomatic as possible, right? To be balanced, to be fair. What comes out of my third chakra? If you took the Kabbalistic tree of life, it's 10 spheres, and saw them in 7 levels. Carolyn Mace, Anatomy of the Spirit. I didn't pull that out of my ass. That's Carolyn Mace. The 2 spheres for the throat chakra are judgment and mercy. So yes, judgment, not just in terms of being judgy, but of really learning how to balance discernment, good judgment, right? Looking both ways to cross the street. The balance between the mental and the emotional, right? Gotta balance that, but also with mercy. And like I said before, it's like engineer, like if you're going to try and come up with a solution for this beggar, divine masculine to divine feminine, make sure you're doing this with a balance of judgment and mercy. Is it merciful? Is it helpful? Or is it just information? Is it just data? You know, even like spiritual, mystical stuff, right? Saying to somebody, well, you create your own reality, when they're really fucking down on their luck. And that's fascinating, darling. Well, that's just stunning. But is it helpful? Is it helpful? It's a bit of a kick in the nuts, honestly. Kick in the third eye, at least. So with this 2 of Cups thing, whatever the physical, I'm getting so many different manifestations of how this could play itself out. But that's why we're going to end with 3 of these. Yes, yes, yes. Whispers of Love cards. I adore these cards. Just got them. Got them at the Magic Moon in Saratoga Springs. Go visit. Tell them Mal said hi. Well, if they don't remember the nickname, Mark said hi. Mark from Joins Circle. Purple hair gay guy from Long Island. Talks to God's angels and masters and throws cards. God, Goddess, all that is. Please for the divine feminine. A clue, a tip, a hint, because this, there's so many different variations on this one. Please. Ooh, that one clicked really good. Let's see if that one comes up. A clue, a tip, a hint for the divine feminine. Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus sign. Divine feminine on the path of true love for August 2019. Love who you are. You are a divine and wonderful person, deserving all of the wonderful things that life has to offer. What you doing? Sorry, they're not supposed to scratch that. Love who you are, my divine feminine beggar. You are divine. You are a divine and wonderful person, deserving all of the wonderful things that life has to offer. And what a beautiful card. So isn't that just so about self-love? Now look, I say it in the clarifying twin flames, soulmates, and true lovers video. Go check out Matt Kahn. Just go check out Matt Kahn. Yeah, you can start with Louise Hay. You can heal your life, but if love yourself, you gotta love yourself. You gotta love yourself. How the hell are you gonna love anybody else? Can I get an amen? Thank you, Saint RuPaul. And that's points in a direction, but how? You know that there's a whole panoply of techniques. But sometimes it's just putting your hand on your heart when you're feeling out of balance, right? The heart chakra, interesting. The sphere, the tree of life is Tiferet, balance, harmony. I love you. I'm so sorry you're feeling this way. It's like talk to the emotion. It's okay. It's okay to feel this. We'll get through this. I'm here. Like that's loving yourself. Works too. I learned that from Matt Kahn too, although inner child work is not new. John Bradshaw. So now let's turn to this divine masculine. I'm gonna make more room. You guys are getting a lot of cards here. God, Goddess, all that is, please. One card for the divine masculine, Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs on the path of true love for August 2019. Please, a clue, a tip, a hint, a clue, a tip, a hint, a clue, a tip, a hint. Like attracts like. If you are longing for more love in your life, you need to be more loving. We'll snap that into your motherboard, my engineered divine masculine. That, yeah, definitely. I'm getting the gist here, that while the divine masculine really is helping to bring the divine feminine here into balance in terms of practicality and solutions and redesigning some things. Because, by the way, this beggar it's archetypal. Don't be so literal. It doesn't mean that you're begging on the street, but to give them some practical structure and support, while the beggar is sort of teaching the engineer, or the divine feminine is teaching the divine masculine compassion and love, and the potential for this just in terms of communication. There's a lot of good communication that can be going on here that can be very balanced. Oh, of course, balance, the heart, Tiferet. Got it. Thank you, my Raphaelites. Takes me a minute, or 10 or 15 or 20. So one more, please. We'll end the reading with God, Goddess, all that is. Please, one card for this relationship, for the Libra Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs on the path of true love for August 2019. Just an overlighting message for this divine masculine and divine feminine. A clue, a tip, a hint. Be authentic to who you are. You are asked to be real and true pertaining to who you are and how you feel. That particularly hits that part I was talking about before about appearances, keeping up appearances, that y'all have to be like authentic. You know, if this is a same-sex thing or a transgender thing or a cross-racial thing, I guess that's interracial, you know what I mean? It was just out of the norm, you know, liberal, conservative, Democrat, Republican, you know, whatever. Don't be shocked that it's time to be authentic. Look where we are in the world. This is a Path of True Love reading. This is about you two kind of helping each other out, working together, helping each other heal if it's soulmate, and even if it's twin flame, teaching each other how to heal. You know, twin flame relationships teach you how to heal yourself because the other person can't give it. But it feels like here there's a real balance of giving. Like I said, very Six of Pentacles, even though it didn't come up because I only got 3 tarot cards, specifically tarot on the thing here. This feels really lovely. It feels like particularly for Libras, that it's going to be balanced, that there is something beautiful, that there is something here blessed. And you know, that was the prayer I said, may the Libra Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs on the path of true love for August 2019 be blessed. And let's do that now. My Libra Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs on the path of true love for August 2019, whether you be divine masculine, divine feminine, both. May you be blessed with all that you need on the path of true love. May this relationship be blessed. May the best come out of it, that it can grow, evolve, transform, and become the best that it can be to fulfill its role in the divine plan and be a blessing upon all of life. May all hearts be blessed, and may all Libras be blessed, and may all souls be blessed. So let it be. Cool. Yeah. Thank you so much. It's getting warm in here. Oh, gotta make sure you do it the right way. Oh, and that's starting to get a little warm in here. I have the air conditioner off. I'll turn that fucker right back on. From the sublime to the ridiculous, from the sacred to the profane, in mere seconds. It's been a pleasure reading for you all, my lovely, lovely Libras. But for now, hail, farewell, and blessed be.